So guys, any discussion on MCP will definitely be incomplete if we don't speak about the inspector. And this is called the MCP Inspector. Now, what is an MCP Inspector? So MCP Inspector is an interactive developer tool specifically designed for testing and debugging model context protocol servers. And you will actually take a look in the very next video. What do we mean when we say it is used for testing and debugging? So remember, it is a web-based interface which is normally built using React that lets the developers explore MCP server capabilities like inspecting the resources. So whatever we learned about MCP, you might remember the three artifacts we talked about: the tools, the resources, prompts. So this is that place, and I'll show you in the next video where you can inspect or you can test the capabilities of your resources, your prompts and tools. And you can even view logs and notifications, right? So, and it normally runs on the default port 6274. Normally you have two options. It says you can run it as a proxy server, or you can use it as a client user interface. So in our course, we'll actually use the client UI, which is served locally for interactive debugging. Now, as I said, if we talk about the key features are server connection pane, resources tab and prompts tab. So again, you will see in the very next lecture when we talk about the server connection page. So this is the place where you can configure your transport. You want it as STDIO, you want it as server sent event, SSE, or you want it as the streamable HTTP, the new form, right? So you can give some command line arguments. You can even set your environment variable. So all this can be done. Then you have the resources tab, prompts tab and tools tab. This is what I talked about when I told you in MCP the various artifacts. So when I talk about the resources tab, you can view the available resources, the metadata, inspect the content and test the subscription. Prompts, as you know, prompt, these are user specified prompts, right? You can create templates, you can browse through the templates, adjust arguments and execute them live. And even tools. The tools feature is simply amazing because it helps you to explore the available tools, run them with custom input. And yes, that's really important. So that the code that we created, you will see that those tools will be available to us, right? And you can actually execute them in near real time. So if you really want to say before you want to create your client code, or before you go and connect to the cloud desktop, you want to just make sure that whatever the server code you have written, is it good enough or not? So this is the best place where you can test it. So you can give some arguments and you can run the tool itself to see how it will behave, right? So this is really important. So what we say in the MCP world is, it is just like an Swiss Army knife. What is the purpose of Swiss Army knife? Is that it solves so many purposes, right? So just like a Swiss Army knife, the MCP Inspector is really useful for providing useful visual tooling and live interaction, so you don't have to build any one-off tests. And in the end, if again the query is coming to your mind, why the word inspector? The word inspector emphasizes its role in inspecting and understanding how MCP operates in real time within a server, and it has a debugging functionality. So just like an inspector examines and analyzes, so you have inspectors, right? So in real world, so just like an inspector examines and analyzes, this tool provides deep visibility into MCP servers' inner workings, making it easier to troubleshoot. So I think with this, you got a very good understanding of what is MCP Inspector. Now in the next lecture, I'll show you the small code that we wrote. We'll try and run it via MCP Inspector and see its usage.